What are your most confident game picks for college football heading into Week 8? I'll tell you mine right here, right now. Last week was a decent week for most conferences except the Big 12 yet again. 2-3 last week. We are 20-20 overall. The Big 12 is basically a toss-up every single week. It's going to be this week too. Every single game is within 10 points. But every other conference, ACC, Big 10, SEC, or at least 18 games over 500, so doing well in all those other three. So let's see how we do this week in the Power 4. Starting off with the Big 12 right here from the top. I'm going to start with the most confident pick of the week, BYU over Oklahoma State. This is only a 9-point spread, has moved down 1 point, but I still believe BYU will not only win this game, but cover and keep their against the spread streak alive at 7-0 for the season. Number 7, Iowa State over UCF. This game actually is couple touchdowns. Iowa State over UCF. I don't know what else to say. Iowa State's a good team. UCF has not been playing well. I want to take the Cyclones to improve to 7-0 on this short season so far. Number 6, Texas Tech over Baylor. This is basically a 3.5-point spread. I think Texas Tech is a better team than Baylor. Baylor has not been doing well. Texas Tech actually is tied for the lead in the Big 12 at 3-0. They're 5-1 overall. I think they get the bowl eligibility in this one, get 6-1 over Baylor. Number 5, Kansas over Houston. Kansas is 1-4. They're doing terrible this year, but Houston is not doing much better. They're 2-4. Kansas is 1-5. Houston's 2-4. I think Kansas, as a slight home favorite, gets the win in this one over the Cougars. Number 4, Utah over TCU. Both teams that are heading in the wrong direction fast. Utah's long lost 2 of 3, while TCU has lost 3 of 4. I do believe that Utah will prevail in this one over the Horned Frogs. Number 3, Kansas State of West Virginia. This is only a 2.5-point spread. West Virginia was a 2-point underdog last week at home against Iowa State, and they lost by a couple touchdowns. This week, they're within a field goal again over Kansas State, but I do believe the Wildcats prevailed over the Mountaineers in this one, even on the road. Number 2, Cincinnati or Arizona State. Cincinnati's been playing spoiler the last few weeks. Finally, they're a favorite at home against the Sun Devils. They're a 5-point favorite. Arizona State's doing really well against the spread this year, but I do believe Cincinnati will prevail in the end and get to a surprisingly, shocking 5 wins so far in this short season. Number 1, I'm going to take the underdog, Colorado over Arizona. They're a road underdog against Arizona, but it's only 2.5 points. I think Colorado, how much to my dismay and most people's chagrin, they're doing lots better than most people would expect. I'm going to take them as a slight dog to win outright in Arizona in the desert. Going to the Big 10 now, there's 7 games. I'm going to take Oregon over Purdue. I don't think Purdue, even on a Friday night at home, I do not think they play Spoilermaker again against the number 2 ranked team. I think Oregon, as a 28.5-point favorite, will prevail over the Boilermakers. Number 6, I don't think another team I think could play spoiler. They did last week. I don't think Northwestern will this week, even at home. I think Wisconsin destroyed Rutgers. I don't think they're going to have a letdown this week against Northwestern. So I'm taking Wisconsin over the Wildcats. Number 5, Rutgers over UCLA. Teams that have traveled more than 2 time zones in the Big 10 this year are 3-11. Rutgers is going on the road to UCLA, but I do believe they still win, even as a slight favorite, 4 points. I'm going to take the Scarlet Knights over the Bruins. UCLA is just not a good team this year. They will finish dead last in the Big 10. Number 4, USC over Maryland. Like I said before, teams that travel more than 2 time zones are 3-11. USC travels to Maryland, but they're a touchdown favorite. I do not see them losing 4 games in a row to move to 3-4. I see the Trojans prevailing over the Terrapins. Number 3, Indiana over Nebraska. This one was a 6.5-point spread as making this video. I'm going to take the Hoosiers over Nebraska. I think this will be a close game, but I think that Nebraska just doesn't have enough of the tank. Indiana is playing so well, not because of their strength of schedule, but because they're a good team. Number 2, Michigan over Illinois. Michigan's only a 3.5-point road favorite over the Illini, who are not a bad team this year. They're actually 5-1. They're ranked number 24 or 22 ahead of Michigan, but I do think Michigan prevails in the end over the Illini on the road. Finally cover the spread and get to 5-2 on this season. And number 1, this one is basically a toss-up. I have no idea. Iowa is a 5-point favorite of Michigan State, but they're on the road. It's a night game. Michigan State's played, I think, 4 of their 6 games have been a night game so far. I'm going to take Iowa over Sparty, though. This is my least confident pick of the week for the Big 10. Moving on to the ACC now, I do believe they have 8 games. Yes, 8 games. My most confident picks, SMU or Stanford. Stanford had that upset over Syracuse early in the season, but that turned out to not be that good of a win. I'm going to take the Mustangs, who are continuing on their hot streak ever since that Week 2 loss to BYU. Number 7, Notre Dame or Georgia Tech. I think this will be a close game. This 11.5 point spread. I think Georgia Tech might pull this within a touchdown, but I do think Notre Dame's just too good. They'll prevail in the end over the Rambling Wreck. Number 6, Clemson over Virginia. I mean, this one could have been an 8, but I think Virginia, even though it's 21-point favorite over them, I think Virginia is still a decent team. They choked against Louisville last week at home. I think Clemson prevails over them this week. I don't know if they cover the spread or not, but they definitely will win the game. Number 5, Virginia Tech or Boston College. I don't know if BC has their starting quarterback yet back finally, but Virginia Tech's playing good ball. They've been playing good ball. They could have very well easily been 5-1 going into this game instead of 3-3. I think they prevail over the Eagles at home in Lane Stadium. Number 4, Cal over NC State. A two time zone crossover here. I think Cal takes care of business against NC State. They're a 10-point favorite. Not much else to say. NC State is not that good of a team this year. They've kind of underperformed for expectations the preseason. Number 3, Duke over Florida State. Yes, I think Florida State gets to 6 losses before we even get to November. Duke is one of the more surprising teams in the nation, let alone the ACC. I think they get to 6 wins, get to eligibility over Florida State. Number 2, UConn over Wake Forest. Wake Forest they lost to Louisiana a couple weeks ago. I think they choked one last week. I forget who they played, but UConn is actually surprising. One of the better teams this year, outperforming all the expectations. I think they beat Wake Forest as a slight 2-point favorite at home. Finally, my least confident pick of the week is Miami. They've been living on the razor's edge each of the last 3 weeks, and I think Louisville would be the biggest test so far that they have, like true test for a team. They survived against Cal. They shouldn't have won against VT, but they did. I would not be surprised if Miami comes away with a loss on the road against Louisville, but I'm still going to take them. They're only a 5-point favorite, so this is a total toss-up for me. Finally, the SEC. 8 games this week. My most confident pick. Man, did you ever think we'd see Vanderbilt as the most confident pick of the week? Yes. They're playing Ball State, though. I mean, Vanderbilt's been... the last 2 weeks against Alabama, obviously, and against Kentucky last week, they covered at least 2 touchdown spreads. They won the game outright. I think they cover against Ball State, and obviously they win. Number 7, Texas A&M against Mississippi State. Georgia only won by 10 as a 34-point favorite last week. I think A&M is an 18-point favorite. Will cover against the Bulldogs. They're just the worst team in the SEC by far. Number 6, Missouri over Auburn. I think this is going to be a close game. Even Missouri is only a 4-point favorite at home against Auburn. Auburn's just going to play a lot of teams close this year. They probably won't win much of them, but I think Missouri gets back on track in the winning ways against the Tigers. Number 5, Kentucky over Florida. This game has gone from a 2-point Florida favorite to Kentucky being a 1.5-point favorite as of this video. I think Kentucky wins on the road at Florida. Not much else to say. Number 4, Alabama over Tennessee. I think this is only a 3-point spread right now. Both teams have been playing very lackluster each of the last 2 to 3 weeks. I just think Alabama is just a better team than Tennessee. Even going on the road to Neyland, last time they had that all-time classic game, 52 to 49. I think Alabama prevails, gets their revenge over 2 years ago. Number 3, Texas over Georgia. Yes, I am taking the Longhorns over the Georgia Bulldogs. They are the underdog for the first time since 2021, I do believe. No, 2020 when they faced Alabama. This is going to be I think Texas will cover the 5-point spread, and I think they move well into position to basically secure their spot in the SEC championship game. And this might knock Georgia out of contention because these 2 games, Alabama, Tennessee, and Texas, Georgia, will be a key and to see how the rest of the college football playoff and the season goes. LSU over Arkansas at number 2. This is a really close game. I think Arkansas has a legit chance at home to pull off the upset. A couple years ago, this was only a 2.5-point spread, and everybody was second-guessing it, and it came down to a 1-point game. I think LSU will pull it out in the end, but I think Arkansas will cover the 1.5 points. I think this might be a 1-point game, come down to the very last possession, if not the very last play. And finally, I'm going to take the upset pick of the week, South Carolina over Oklahoma. On the road, South Carolina has been playing so well, they just can never get it done. They had that close loss to LSU, and then last week, obviously, they should have beat Alabama. Should have. They had a stupid play, the last play of the game, to have an interception. But I think they prevail, finally get that big win over Oklahoma on the road. It's only 1.5-point underdog spread. I think they get it done, and they will cement themselves as one of the better teams in the SEC, but underachieving. That's my video, guys. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button below, subscribe to the channel, and join me next week for my Week 9 confidence picks. Can you believe we're already almost at Week 9? We'll see how we do this week, and hopefully we get back on track, especially in the Big 12. But I'll see you guys then for the confidence picks.